Hello, guys. I decided to start a little bit earlier for 3 or 2 minutes just to maybe discuss some questions. I'm glad to see you here again. Yeah, I've really been sick for all the last week, and I think I still have some, uh, let's say, kind of feedbacks, but uh, I feel well, more or less, and uh, just wanted to discuss with you the questions maybe you had from watching the previous lessons about the roundabouts and pedestrians. I guess with the with the pedestrians it was quite simple, but maybe roundabouts are not so simple. So maybe yeah, if you have write the questions down, we can discuss it right at the moment, and it will be very good. And today we are going to talk about the overtaking, the main, let's say, definitions and uh, safety rules. Let's say we have to discuss, and about the tree planning, also traffic insurance. So all these things we have to discuss. So yeah, please, if you are ready to ask something, you can text it here. Anyway, you can always email me or WhatsApp me. But yeah, we all together we can discuss something now as well. Yeah, so I still see that maybe you don't have a lot of questions. No, today is not the last one. The last one will be next week. The last one we are going to talk about this mechanical and technical construction of the car and parts of it. So yeah, it's not the today is not the last one. So it's the okay. Eric, if you started late, then no, it's not. It's not the last lesson. Okay, I will text it here. Just in case you. Okay, how to. Yeah, it's not the last lesson now. But what about the me who started a bit late, Eric? Yeah, what do you mean exactly? You started late, but you finished at the same time with like others. So you continue with the same group. So they started a little bit later. As you remember, you started like 2 or 1 week late after. So the only thing you should do is like watching the previous lessons we had with this group, and but you finish at the same time, like next week. So next week is the last lesson. So we have 7 lessons, right? 7 meetings. I mean, we missed one last time, so today is the sixth one, and next one will be the seventh. So the next one will be the last one. It's funny that actually I have sent an email to join the lesson for around 20 people maybe, but it's only 4 online now. Interesting if other people are still watching us, or maybe they watch the recordings. But still, it's funny, right? I see it's only 4 now. Yeah, the thing I was asking is like about the questions for the previous lesson. So, guys, if you maybe have it, if you have it for the roundabouts especially, maybe you can ask it now. and then if not, we'll continue talking about other things today, and next lesson will be the last one. So yeah, don't be shy, you can ask something. Yeah, vacation, I think so. I had my vacation last week because I was sick, so I have to work this week. Okay, I guess all fine. Let's keep talking. Um, let's keep talking. Do you have enough lights, by the way, here? I don't know if you see everything correctly, but yeah, mainly you have to see the slides, so not me. Okay, let's start with the overtakings then. Um, we have to um, remind you the definitions of overtaking and passing, these two important things. So overtaking is moving past one or more driving vehicles by exiting one's own lane. So it means I have to exit my lane, overtake the car, and get back to this lane. So this is overtaking. Rounding or passing is not deemed to be overtaking. So it means uh, if we are overtaking the obstacle, yeah, it's not overtaking. We call it rounding the obstacle. Uh, okay, I see one more question. How many lessons we will have in practical? You need to make at least 28 lessons. Two of them is driving exam, and two more of them is slippery driving and night driving. So basically, you have to complete 28 lessons. It's mandatory. Of course, if it seems that you are not still confident, you can take and even have to take, logically, you have to take additional lessons. Because if you cannot still manage many of the things, like you cannot manage roundabouts, you cannot manage highway driving, you cannot manage parking, because this amount of the lesson was not enough for you. So then you should take more lessons, of course, and then finally you will make this driving exam. And also after this 7 lessons, can we take a test for theory? Yes, you basically have 4 weeks after we finish next week. You have 4 weeks to prepare yourself and pass this exam, theory exam. Yeah, if about the practicals, please text me in email, so then we can discuss it there. Because now we don't have a lot of time to talk about practicals. We have to talk about theory, I guess, more. So if everything is clear, then let's stick with the theory first, and then during the email we can talk about the practicals. Or you can WhatsApp me also. Hi. You came to join the lesson, right? Oh, okay, yeah. Please take a seat. We have already started, actually. Yeah, the others are online. today. No, 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 no. It's also in the class, but some people came. I mean, mostly all the people are online, so that's why. Okay, I will share the screen. Yeah. Okay, so we have started to talk about overtakings and passings. So I guess most of the questions are clear for now, and next week will be the last theory lesson, by the way. So after that, you have time to make this theory test. Usually, we give four weeks to prepare yourself, so you can make it then. Okay, so I guess we can continue with the definitions. So overtaking is moving past one or more driving vehicles by exiting your lane. So as you understand now, you can, uh, as you understand, if you want to overtake, you have to exit your own lane, like this one, and then continue overtaking and go to the back to your lane. And passing is moving past one or more driving vehicles without exiting this lane. So basically, if I'm driving nearby here and I'm going faster than this car on the right, then I'm passing this car. So um, one thing you should remember: if you drive in the city, you cannot make overtaking from the right side. You can make it only from the left side. Yeah. There are special, let's say, circumstances when you can make it on the right. But if you just casually go straight and other car goes straight, so in that case you can make overtaking only on the left side. For example, this is the special circumstances when you can make it on the right. If a vehicle moving in front of clearly intends to turn left or make a U-turn, like now, so this car is intending to make a left turn, or maybe it wants to make a U-turn. You see the indicator here, actually, right? So in that case, overtaking can be affected on the right side. Otherwise, you cannot make it from the right. So maybe you remember the overtaking prohibited sign also. And here you need to know the very tricky rule, let's say. If the speed of the car in front is under 30 kilometers per hour, then you can overtake it. So usually this sign means that we cannot overtake. But if the car in front is driving less than 30 kilometers per hour, then we can overtake it. And this is like an exception rule. And you should remember that. Now you see the tractor, but it also can be like small motorcycle, or it also can be a broken car, for example, if broken car is driving very slowly. So in that case, you can overtake. The same with the trams. A driver overtaking a tram must do so on the right, so if the tram is in the middle. If the tramway track lies near to the right edge of the side appropriate to the direction of traffic, like now, here. So in that case, we have to make it on the left. So it's very easy actually. So, what should you do if someone overtakes you? you should understand that overtaking is a cooperational work of two drivers. So if you see that someone is overtaking you, you have to uh, give him a chance to finish this overtaking. Yeah, you don't have to, let's say, disturb him somehow. You must be always prepared that the driver behind may start overtaking. So that's why it mostly means that you have to check the rear view mirror most of the times, so you can see and remember how many cars you have behind and if they are going to overtake you or not. So as a driver, you always have to check the surroundings when you drive straight even. So you may indicate to the other drivers that the road is clear. So how can we do that? Most of the times, for example, truck drivers, um, they show indicators. For example, right indicator means that we can overtake him. Left indicator means we cannot. Yeah, so truck is quite big, and that's why visibility is very poor, right, and very bad. So in that case, they use indicators to show you that road is in front may be clean and the oncoming lane is clean. So he will show the right indicator, and you can overtake him then. So this is the things they use. Okay, one more question comes here with the theory. Um, what if someone can make the exam after 4 weeks preparation time? Also, are you gonna send us a reminder? Um, Usually we don't send a reminder, but people usually make it like first 1 or 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you to make it. Yeah, we are not like pushing you to have it during the next 4 weeks, but it's up to you to make it faster, right? So mm, there is no like, yeah, that limit in that case. We just say that usually 4 weeks is enough. After the theory lesson is over, it's enough. Of course, if you're not will be ready, you will travel maybe to some country, then you can make it later. No problem at all about that. But yeah, we usually don't send a reminder about that. Yeah, if the car is broken, also you should drive on the maximum right position so then other people can overtake you, like on this picture. So if tractor is driving slowly, he has to move a maximum right position. That's a good point. So you need to keep the maximum right position on the carriageway, yeah, as we just talked. So other people can overtake you easily, and you must not block the overtaking process. This is also obvious. So, if a driver who was overtaking wants to return back to his lane, drivers behind him must allow it. So, if you see the guy was overtaking you, and you see this guy is cannot manage it, and he wants to go back to your lane, so you can decelerate, slow down a little bit, or maybe otherwise you can go faster, and this person can go back to your lane. So, if owing to the narrowness, profile, or condition of the carriageway taken into conjunction with the density of oncoming traffic, a vehicle that is slow or bulky or it's required to observe a speed limit cannot be safely overtaken, the driver of such vehicle must slow down and, if necessary, pull into the side as soon as possible in order to allow vehicles following them to safely overtake. So it mostly means mostly this rule works for the trucks and buses. The main meaning of this complicated explanation here, the main meaning that if you cannot go faster and people cannot overtake you in the safe way, you have to take maximum right side, or maybe you even have to stop on the shoulder. So if the traffic jam behind you can overtake you easily. So this is the main saying. But yeah, it's mostly related with the buses and truck drivers, because if you're driving a small car, then it's much easier for you to give other persons away. So what should you do if you overtake someone? They need an opportunity for overtaking must be considered. So the main point here that you have to consider if it's necessary to make this overtaking for you or not. So if you will win like 3 or 4 additional minutes, then maybe it's not necessary to make this overtaking and go faster, because overtaking is quite complicated and very dangerous maneuver. So usually a lot of accidents happen because of overtaking. So that's why I have to consider if it's necessary to do that. High beam lamp may be blinked to warn the driver in front of overtaking. It's officially allowed to do in Estonia, for example. So before you start overtaking, you can blink with the high beams flash. I mean, like usually people do not know that and they don't do that. But you have to remember that you have this opportunity, so people in front, they will be ready that you want to overtake them, and maybe they will slow down, they will take more to the right position, and they will overtake you. You will overtake them, I mean. Before the overtake days, the separation distance may be less than normal, of course. So the main thing here that if you start overtaking, you have to make this distance in front shorter. And do not exceed the speed limit when overtaking. So this is the main mistake usually people do. They think if they are overtaking, they can go faster than it's limited with the speed, right? So if it's 90 and you want to overtake the guy in front of you and this guy is driving 85, you cannot go over the 90. So you'll be overtaking him quite long time, right? So that's why there is no point to overtake him then. And yeah, so these things you should remember. Before starting the overtaking, you have to ensure in this main things, no driver who is behind them has begun to overtake. So you have to ensure that no one behind you started to overtake you. The driver in front of them in the same lane has not given a warning of their intention to turn left. So before you start overtake the person in front, make sure that this person is not turning left, because if you start overtaking, accident can happen. That overtaking will not endanger or interfere with other road users, so it's just general safety rule. The lane that they will enter is free over a sufficient distance. It means the oncoming lane. Yeah, because if it's not free and there are a lot of cars coming, you can have an accident with oncoming traffic. And this can be quite damageable, let's say. The relative speed of the two vehicles allows for overtaking within a sufficiently short time. So it means that your vehicle can make this overtaking quite fast. Yeah, so you can have normal speed like, and in the same time you will not exceed it. Yeah, for example, if car in front will drive 40 and you will overtake this car on 90, of course then you'll make this overtaking really fast. But if the car in front of you is driving 85 or 80, but you have to go 90, so you will be overtaking him quite a long time, right? It will be possible without inconvenience to the driver overtaking to resume the position in the previous lane. So this is also easy. So the driver must not overtake by using the lane for incoming traffic. If there is no circumstances for the safety overtaking, like we just discussed before. At an intersection and in their immediate vicinity on a road emerging into the intersection, except at intersection where drivers approaching from other direction have the obligation to give way. I will show you the picture of that one soon. So on a level crossing and its immediate vicinity before the level crossing, on an unregulated pedestrian crossing, on a road section with limited visibility. So let's check that. So the first one, at intersection in their immediate vicinity on the road emerging into the intersection. So basically it means that if you have giveaway sign, for example, and they have main road, you cannot make this overtaking. The point is that if someone will come, they have main road, right? Because you have giveaway sign, for example. And if you start overtaking at the same time, you will miss this car and you will have an accident. That's why usually on the crossroads, if you don't have priority, you cannot make overtaking. Or for example, you have right-hand rule in this area. You cannot make overtaking because you have to give way to the right coming cars. The same with the level crossing. Because of the bus, you can miss the train coming. That's why you have to overtake later. Then you cannot do it right away. Unregulated pedestrian crossing, no traffic lights, nothing. We don't know when this person will start crossing the road, so again we will miss maybe this person because of this car. If we start overtaking, an accident can happen. That's why we cannot do that on the unregulated pedestrian crossing. So overtaking on the crossroad, when it's in some cases it's obviously allowed, right? So for example, if you have a main road sign, if you have giveaway sign, of course you cannot, because some other vehicle can come in any moment. But here now we have main road, we know that they have giveaway signs. In that case, we can make an overtaking. The same here, main road goes left, but still we have main road and we exit the main road. We have priority. And we can make overtaking also in that situation. Because they have secondary road. They have secondary road. They also have main road, as you see, according to the sign. But because of the right-hand rule, they have to give us away. So if we have the same priority, as you remember, so we both have the same priority, then right-hand rule applies. So this gray car has to give way to the taxi and our car. And that's why we have priority, and that's why we can make this overtaking on the crossroad. The same story with the traffic light. So green light, obviously others will have red. We can make overtaking. In my opinion, it's still dangerous to make any overtakings on the crossroads. So I prefer not to make it, because sometimes it can happen that sometimes it happens that people do not see the traffic lights. People miss giveaway signs. So people make mistakes, and that's why it's not so safety actually. Even if you know that you have main road, other people may not know that, and that's why it's dangerous. So yeah, as I said, in my opinion, it's better to pass the crossroad and then make this overtaking later, even if you have priority. But according to the rules, you have to know how to make it if you have priority. The driver must not overtake in lanes appropriate to the direction of traffic on a road section of limited visibility where the lanes on the side appropriate to the direction of traffic are not marked on the road surface, or the road surface marking is not visible. So we have limited visibility here because it's a turn, and lanes are not marked. We don't have a road marking, or we don't have any signs. In that situation, we cannot make overtaking on a turn. Okay, here comes the question. In the previous image, with the priority car on the left also has priority, and we go first because of right hand rule. Yes, that's correct. This is the thing I just explained. They have priority road and we have. In that case, right hand rule applies. If we have the same category roads, the same priority roads, so right hand rule applies in that case. Yeah, that's very correct. No, they have this person. Yeah, but this person don't have priority. If you check the sign here, you will see they have secondary road, and this is secondary road. You see this thin line. Yeah, yeah. Someone is asking. So it means that they will give us away anyway. Doesn't matter because they don't have priority in a region. This guy has to give us away because of the right hand rule. So generally, we have full priority to make this to go. Yeah, yeah. So everything is clear, I guess now. Is it clear for you also? Okay, that's good. Yeah. So talking about this place again, remember if you have a limited visibility place like this high turn, and the road is not marked like this, no lines, no signs, we cannot overtake the car in front. We have to go behind. After a turn, we can overtake. So, the driver must not overtake in lanes appropriate to the direction of traffic on a regulated pedestrian crossing. So again, the same situation. We cannot do that if it's unregulated. If we have traffic lights, then we can because it's regulated. But in that case, it's unregulated. We cannot overtake. So the driver must not overtake in the lanes appropriate to the direction of traffic on a deceleration or acceleration lane and by using the shoulder or lay-by for public transport vehicle stop. Lay-by, it's this part. We call it lay-by for public transport, like small pocket. Unless a vehicle making left turn or a U-turn is overtaken on the right. So if this vehicle is turning left or making U-turn, then we can use this right side to overtake this car. Otherwise, we cannot use it. So, most important thing you should remember: overtake is not a mandatory maneuver. So, some people really, students, I mean, they really desire and want to. They really want to overtake buses, for example, when we drive. Yeah, so bus is slow. They want to go faster, but it's not necessary. You don't have to do that because usually, as my practice shows, that when students start overtaking someone, they make thousands of mistakes in that case. So better not to. And here is a good example. Like the vehicle in front of you is driving on 90 kilometers per hour. You want to drive 100, let's say. But overtaking is impossible. How much time do you lose if you drive next 10 kilometers under these conditions? So you will lose only 40 seconds. Yeah, you will be driving less, 10 kilometer per hour less, next 10 kilometers, and a little bit slower, but you will lose only 40 seconds. So it's not much, right? So maybe sometimes it's better to keep your position behind the car and drive smooth and slowly. Is it easy to estimate the speed of the oncoming vehicle? Of course not. Uh, now you can see the picture, right? So um, it's a highway, obviously. So people drive here around 90 and 100 kilometers per hour, and you will never say that. And especially if you're a beginner, it will be hard for you to understand like how fast he will finish his overtaking maneuver. Yeah, at the moment he's overtaking the track. So especially for the beginners, it's very hard to estimate this speed and distance. So that's why in your case, you always have to be sure that the car in front of you or you want to overtake and the oncoming lane you want to use for overtaking is totally free, like with no cars. It it of course it happens very rarely when the oncoming lane is totally free, but still this is the point you need to follow as a beginner. This is my advice. So if we talk about the manual gearbox, um, it's not related. This rule is not related with the automatic, only with the manual. So overtaking usually should be made with the lower gear. Actually, some automatic cars they have an option to switch the gears. Actually, some cars have it. So this is the thing you should remember then. Yeah, overtaking should be made with the lower gear usually. The lower gear you have, the more power your engine have. So the faster your car will go. That's the main thing. For example, if you drive 90 on the highway, usually you use fifth or sixth gear, the last one. Before you start overtaking, you should change it to the fourth gear, sometimes even third gear, and start overtaking. Then you will have more power and more speed, or like acceleration speed. So this is the thing you can use. What if you were wrong about estimating this distance and started to overtake? Of course, the only option you have is to stop overtaking and go back to your lane. Don't try to go faster and trying to finish your overtaking. My advice, as soon as you understand you are too late and car is very close to you, start braking and get back to your lane if it's possible. Of course, you have to check that this lane is free. You show indicators, of course. But it will be much safer if you start braking and get back to the right lane. If you will start accelerating and you get into the accident, then your speed will be higher, and of course damage will be higher. So better braking than starting to accelerate. So risks related with overtaking, other things we can discuss here. Once I already asked you actually about this sign, maybe you remember. So this sign means that this road is the main one and we have secondary road joining the main one. And there is a question in Liculus lab tests and the road administration test also, like, is it safety to make overtaking under influence of this sign? How do you think? Is it safety to overtake if you see this sign? Yeah. It's risk, yeah. Why? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, this is yeah. If you start overtaking and imagine some car is coming from this side, yeah, so you can get into the accident, of course. Yeah. So some people, Murad and Afjal, they say it's not safe also. So this is the correct answer, of course. So it's not safe. By the way, you called me, right, at 6 o'clock? Okay. So 8892, it's your number, right? Oh, okay. I'm just trying to understand who is trying to get inside now. Yes, I guess, but it's not working for him. I'm trying to open the door. Mm. Hello? Yes, can you get inside? Yeah, I will open the door. I will open. Okay, now it's open. Mm, I don't understand why it's not working. Yeah, Abjal is correct. So, hi. Uh, so when you are overtaking someone, you have to yeah, sure that with accident. So yeah, basically that's the point. If you see this sign, it means that your road is intersecting with this road, and with some another road, and it always can happen some accident because another car is exiting there, and maybe if this car is not seeing you, accident can happen. And one more thing that you should know, that if you finish the overtaking, you have to estimate this distance between cars correctly. So some beginners usually have a problem with that. They really don't understand how far this car is in the mirror. So you start overtaking, you make it, then you will finish it, and before you finish it, check the right mirror and make sure that this car is totally visible for you in the mirror, and you can finish it easily. So yeah, this is the example. The driver of vehicle overtaking another vehicle must keep a safe separation and lateral distance to the vehicle being overtaken. So usually it's around 15 meters. How to understand if it's safety or not? You should see this car behind totally in your right mirror. So it has to be small. Yeah. So if you have small picture of that, you can finish the overtaking. So it's kind of easy actually. The same place with this sign. Um, if you start overtaking the car, but this car accidentally started to turn left and he didn't show indicator. Of course, it's not your fault, but still accident can happen, and it can be like little accident, right? So that's why you have to consider this kind of things. So if you see the crossroad ahead, you should understand that maybe the car in front wants to make a left turn or right turn, doesn't matter. So I have to um, be careful and don't overtake on the crossroads, even if you know that you have priority. And other thing, this car was not correct. As you understand, of course, before this car make a left turn, this car has to take maximum left position. Last time we talked about that, like correct position on the road before you make a left turn or right turn, especially if it's one way. Never overtake someone if this person is already overtaking someone. So double overtaking is not safe, obviously. Yeah, you have to wait until this person will finish, and then you can start overtaking. But don't make this double overtakings, never. So the passing, the thing that we just discussed in the beginning, is moving past one or more driving vehicles without exiting one's own lane. So it means that if I drive 110 and this car driving 90, so I go faster than the car on the right. So that's the main thing. And this is passing. But as soon as I exit this lane and go back to this lane, I'm overtaking. So this is the overtaking then. Passing on oncoming traffic must be affected on the right. Drivers turning left in opposite directions and intersection may pass each other on the left, exercising extra care, like this. So if we do this left turn and they do this left turn, so it's also passing. We can call it passing. So we discussed this also last time. I guess I showed you an example. Yeah, the same one. So this is a very good crossroad to show. Like these cars, they go left, and sorry, maybe once again. Yeah, this one. So we turn left here, and they turn left here, this way. So we don't cross each other, anyhow. If you recognize this place, you will understand that Taltech is there. So the main crossroad. And the other example, this one. So we also can pass each other like this. Mostly it works if we have a dividing strip in the middle. So let me show you the example. This one. We have a dividing strip, you see. There, it goes here and continues. So this car will stop if oncoming car also wants to go. So they both will stop here. Oncoming car and side appropriate car. And then if we see it's free to go, we can finish the maneuver. That's it. So, passing on oncoming traffic like this. Sometimes it's very narrow, like some Nimmer roads, maybe, you know. When passing an oncoming vehicle on a narrow carriageway, one must keep as much to the right as possible and pull onto the shoulder if necessary. So it's not a problem if you pull on the shoulder in these places. You can. You can cross this solid line, of course. You can use this shoulder on the right side. You can drive on the sand and cross it. Afjal is asking if there is a pedestrian, then what can we do? Where exactly is the pedestrian, you mean? You mean here? Or where? Maybe here. Of course, if it's pedestrian here, then you have to wait until this pedestrian go. So that's the main thing, I guess. So you wait until this car pass you in the Google map. Okay. Which one of them then? It's hard to Fine. You mean here? Both of this both of these Google Maps, they have traffic lights. So pedestrian will not come because you make a left turn. So it means pedestrians, they have red light, obviously. So when passing a vehicle, a safe lateral clearance must be ensured when passing vehicles. So reduce speed on narrow roads if necessary, can stop. Yeah, this is the thing you should do. Sometimes uh, beginners, like students, they're afraid to slow down if they see the car in front. So of course you can slow down and take maximum right position as possible. The lateral spacing with the oncoming rider must be significantly increased on slippery roads, strong crosswinds, and when driving in the dark. So everything has to be um, like bigger. So this is quite interesting rule also here. Um, it's related with the downhill sign and uphill sign. If passing is difficult due to an obstacle, the driver having the obstacle in front of them must give way. So generally, if you have any obstacle on the road in front of you, it can be car, people, it can be anything, like some trash maybe. Uh, if you have an obstacle, you have to give way to the oncoming traffic. Yeah, so this car has an obstacle, this car has to stop and give way to the oncoming car. On a downhill road, signposted as such, the driver moving downhill must give way in the end of an obstacle. If we have this sign, uh, in our case we have uphill sign, and this car has downhill sign. So if this car has downhill road sign, then this car has to give way to the oncoming traffic if they have an obstacle. So why do you think it's important, and why rule is different in that case? So white car is not having an obstacle, but still, if in the case of downhill, this car has to give away. The question is like why this car is giving it away then? If you mean the white car, yeah. If it's downhill, because in casual situation, white car has priority. Yeah, but in downhill situation, this white car don't have priority. No, one of the options that Mamad is saying, it's obstacle might come down. No, for example, if it's stone, yeah, because the engine needs more power. Yeah, it can be true actually. I mean, like, yeah, all these answers are more or less correct. The main thing is that imagine if heavy loaded truck is trying to go up. Yeah, yeah, and imagine if he stopped because of the obstacle. Hmm. So that's why this rule exists. So if oncoming car see it, oncoming car has to give way. Yeah. So yeah, answers are more or less correct. Other answer is also correct. Like I mean, the obstacle can go down also if it's stones. Uh-huh. Climbing up, yeah. Yeah, that's the difference basically. A first rule is related with the casual situation. without downhill, uphill. Second rule is related with downhill and uphill situation. That's why. So you should remember that because sometimes they ask about that in the tests. Also. So, overtaking, passing, or rounding a slowly moving or standing maintenance vehicle with a flashing or uh, no, basically flashing yellow lamp, working on the road, or standing emergency vehicle with a flashing blue lamp is allowed without endangering other road users. So, basically, the main explanation of this rule is you can make overtaking of any working car like police car, firefighter car, ambulance car. You can make overtaking or passing or rounding, and in that case you can also cross the prohibition surface marking. For example, solid line you can cross, or overtaking prohibited sign. No, no worries, you can cross that because these cars they are making some like important duties on the road. Or otherwise, you will stop and wait until they finish it, but it can be like forever, you know. So that's why as soon as you see cleaning car has usually snow cleaning cars, they have yellow flashing lamps, right? As soon as they work, they usually make this work very slowly. So you can overtake them, and it's allowed to cross prohibition road marking or signs. This is the point. Uh, just to make it more clear for you, maybe I uh, can show you even here. Maybe not here, but maybe this map place. Okay, not this. Can you go to the yeah? So like this place, you remember that this separation island we cannot cross because it's solid lines over. But in winter, usually snow cleaning cars are covering all this road. So what should you do? You will drive behind him forever, like 10 kilometers per hour? Not, no, of course. So in that case, it's allowed to cross this solid line, overtake him, and go further. Only in that case, it's allowed. Okay, we also have to talk about this traffic insurance today. But maybe, first of all, we will check the questions you did last time. Have you did any, by the way? Tests? No? Okay. We can discuss it together then. We passed quite a lot lessons, so this is the sixth one, and I guess we can actually most of these questions should be added. Let me check. So the last test will be this one. Crossroads and traffic lights. Okay, this will be the last one. And this one for the previous lesson, you position on the roads. Yeah, this one. Position on the roads. This crossroads and signs. Okay, so we can discuss once again. And 4 lesson also. Crossroads and signs 2/2 and position on the road. So these two tests obviously should be ready. If not, we will check it anyway. So the next two you will have crossroads and signs 1/2 and crossroads and traffic lights. And crossroads and traffic lights will be the last one. So okay, let's start with the position on the road. So site appropriate to direction of traffic. Number, no, we can say number A, B, or C. In that case, site appropriate to direction of traffic, we call it travel lane, the lane that we can use for driving, right? So what do you think? What is it? A, I guess, right? Yeah. So this is the lane we can use for driving. This is the oncoming lane. Yeah. If we remember the first lesson, we will understand that this part we call everything included is road. The part where cars can drive, carriageway. And this is oncoming traffic, and this is site appropriate to direction of traffic. Yeah. So the same here. This is a tricky question because some people might think that this sign means one-way road. So in that case, both lanes are site appropriate to direction of traffic. So both lanes go in one direction. Yeah, but this sign means mandatory direction straight. Yeah, so it's not one-way sign. One-way sign has to be square. Yeah. So in that case, we have oncoming traffic and we have site appropriate to direction of traffic. So both two-way road basically. So when it's allowed to use a bus lane, only for left turn or right turn maybe, if you are driving an electric car, in a case if other lanes are busy and I'm not disturbing the public transport. So what do you think? Yeah, here's the question. Only for a left turn if you're driving an electric car, in a case if other lanes are busy and I'm not disturbing the public transport. Okay, let's see. So correct answer is if you are driving an electric car. So first one is not correct. Why? Because not only left turn. We can use bus lane. We can use also bus lane for a right turn. Doesn't matter. We can use it. In the case if other lanes are busy, I'm not disturbing the public transport. This is totally not correct. We cannot use bus lane even if other lanes are busy. But electric cars, the only right saying here is electric cars. They can use bus lanes. Doesn't matter what, they can use it. When it's allowed to use a bus lane, if we need to upload or unload the goods, it is allowed to drive on the such lane reserved for public transport vehicle when completing a turn. Can I even maybe like this? When completing a turn after which the vehicle must abandon it immediately. So this is the correct answer. So I can use this lane if I want to make a turn, but I have to abandon this lane immediately. This is the right way to do that. Which way can you go here? The sign means what? You remember? I just said mandatory direction. Mandatory direction means I have to go only left. Yeah. So in direction also it's two-way road, I guess. So in direction B only I can go because A is oncoming traffic. Very tricky question. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, direction B. This clear? If the why B? But why not? Why A? But why A do you think? Maybe I will find the market. I think. Yes, I will find. It's very easy because this is the crossroad you have. So if I want to turn left, obviously I will use this lane, right? Yeah. This is my lane. This is a coming lane. This is very simple. Yeah. But I have to go left only because this sign I have mandatory left. So I cannot go any other direction. Yes? If I enter this one, I will smash with other car. Yeah. This is oncoming traffic. I think it's visible, right? For chat also, I guess. Yeah. Which vehicle is performing the left turn correctly? So they both want to go left. This sign means what? Sorry? One way straight. Yeah, one way. Last time when we had a class, we talked about the one ways, if you remember. So if I make a left turn on the one-way road, I should take which lane? Yes. Yeah, Avjal also making the correct answer. So I have to be A. A is the correct. Avjal is asking, how did you understand if it's a two-way road? This one you mean, right? But how did you understand that it's not a two-way road? This is my question. If there is no one-way road sign or one-way road ahead, then by default, it's two-way road. Am I correct? Yes, so basically it's a two-way road. Actually, you answered correctly. There is no sign, so by default it's two-way road. Yeah, it's a correct answer. Mamad is also answering correctly. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah, so talking about this picture, the correct position is the A1. So if it's a one-way road, we take the maximum left position and then we can turn left. We cannot turn left from right side because we can cross this car. Which vehicle is performing the left turn correctly? One way is ending here on the crossroad. So yes, it's ending on the crossroad, as you see. It's still A. Why A? Because one way is still here. One way is still on the crossroad. Because this, okay, let's say the sign has to be a little bit more up on the picture. But yeah, our car, even B, you see, it's still on the one way because it ends here. So it means if he turns left, it's not correct. If I'm still in the invalidation of this one-way sign, I still have to make it from the left lane. So A will be correct. How both? Someone is answering both. No, A and B. You mean they both can turn left in from left and right position? Of course not. So only A is the correct one here. If this one-way road will be ended here in advance, you remember last time I showed you the very good place in Nimna. If it over here, then of course B will be correct. So B has to turn. We don't have one way anymore. We have to turn from rightmost lane. And you, Mamad, you should remember this definitely because we even passed with you this on the driving lesson. Maybe you remember. But okay, one more question, one more test, I mean. This one, yeah? Or I missed. Yeah, crossroads and signs. Bad day, okay. I'll delete this one. So, again, talking about the bus lanes and lanes generally. On which purpose can you use the public transport special lane? For unloading or loading goods, for stopping in order to enable passengers to enter or exit, provided that it does not impede the provision of regular service by public transport vehicles. For stopping. So, what do you think, guys? Which answer is correct? Yeah, Avjal is correct. Option B. This is the thing you just need to remember, I can say, because basically the most obvious and correct answer, which looks like more correct answer, will be the right one. This is the logic of all these questions on the exam also. You see, so for unloading or loading goods, this is also correct, but there is no additional explanation. Yeah, so for stopping in order to enable passengers to enter or exit, provided that it's not disturbing the public transport behind. So you see, this is the full correct answer. But they are both correct. But the explanation of the correct one is better here. So that's why it's correct one. And that's why this is how they want to trick with you on the exam. So is it allowed to turn left if you see the sign after the crossroad? It should be in your homework video, as I remember, about the special regulation signs. So if this sign is located before the crossroad, you are obliged to follow this sign. So only straight. If it's after the crossroad, it's just an information. So it means you can turn left. Yeah, so it should be. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, thank you, Avjal. You have a correct answer again. How do you think you are in the? Are you in the build-up area or outside of the build-up area? It's also this question is related with your homework video about special regulation sign. How do I understand? I'm inside or outside? All the question is in the color of this sign. They can be blue and they can be white. So white means I'm in the city, blue means I'm out of the city. You understand? Yeah. So this is how I can understand also that in the right lane I drive 50 because I'm in the city. The sign is white. But left lane you see is marked additionally 70. So in the left lane I can be 70. So this is the information you can have. Yeah, so in the build-up area it's a white background. In the out of the build-up area it's a blue background. Yeah. What is the meaning of this sign? It's also speed limit, right? But it's not like casual, it's different. It's 70 and square. So maximum recommended speed if the weather and road conditions are good. So it's recommended, but it's not mandatory. It's recommended to drive 70, but if you want, you can go also 90 if you are on the highway, for example. Yeah, thank you guys for the correct answers. I see most of them are correct. What is the meaning of this sign? It prohibits to go straight. It indicates the entrance to the variable direction of traffic, indicates the directions where you are allowed to go. This one is easy. B, yes. Variable direction of traffic. We talked quite a lot about that last lessons. So B is the correct one. Yeah, Mamad and Avjal, thank you for the correct answers. It's still correct, I see. Which sign allows you to go straight? So you see the sign. What this sign means? Yes, A and C. Yes, you are correct, actually. A and C. But I want you to understand what they mean. So this is one-way road, right? One-way road goes right. So it doesn't prohibits to go straight, of course. We can go straight if we see the sign. But if we go right, we know that it's one way. This one, mandatory right. So we cannot go straight or left or other directions. C, one way ends. So one way ends. Now it's two way, but we still can go straight. That's why A and C are correct. Yeah, Mamad, you are correct. B, not mandatory straight, it's mandatory right. But I think you understand what we're talking about. Yeah, C and one way, and we can go straight, of course. But yeah, remember, B is not just mandatory straight, it's mandatory right in that case. Even arrow show it. What is the meaning of this sign? From left to right, okay. What is the meaning of this sign? So traffic jam ahead. Left lane is ending and the drivers on the left have a right of way if they want to change the lane to the right. The left lane is ending, and it's recommended to change the lane to the right in 1-by-1 order. C, should be C. Yeah, so this is all correct. Any questions about that? You can practice it at home anyway again. The link that I gave to you, it's after every lesson I put the test in the end. You can push it and practice. So next time we will check 2 more tests then, so we can do them. So let's talk about traffic insurance. We have left a little bit more slides, but it's not so much. I think quite fast we have to go through this. So, comprehensive traffic insurance. As you maybe know already, every car and every person in Estonia and Europe, they should have insurance. So every vehicle need to have insurance if you are using public transport, like public roads. If you are driving somewhere in the forest on your ATV, it's not necessary, of course, or if you are driving your tractor. But as soon as you use public roads like this, so then you have to make this comprehensive traffic insurance. So it's the mandatory insurance. If you will not make it and try to drive on the roads, you will get a penalty, of course. Why it's necessary to have it? Of course, one of the things that taxes. So basically, you use car, you use the roads, and in that case, you pay taxes. Actually, we can say, because all the public roads, they are like free of use. For example, if you take any other country like Germany or Spain or Croatia, any other country, as soon as you use the highways there or some other big roads, you will pay for it. Yeah. So and that's why we have another, let's say, point of paying these taxes and stuff like that. So it's mandatory to have it, and it's also good for you to have it. As soon as you have an accident and you are not guilty in this accident, your insurance will cover all the costs, your health costs and your damage costs for the car, obviously. So, of course, if you are guilty in the situation, we'll talk about that later. It works a little bit in different way. So, which vehicles must be insured? So, any vehicle you use must be insured that has the registration number. For example, trailers, motorcycles, cars, trucks, buses, everything. Bicycles, for example, they don't have any registration plate behind. In that case, we don't have to insure them, of course. So, is it necessary to have an insurance on a trailer? Yes, as I already told you, it's 2 different vehicles, your car and trailer. That's why you have to make an insurance on that. So the main thing, if we look at this situation from the jurisdiction side, imagine if someone damaged or smashed into your trailer. Yeah, who will cover you the costs if the trailer is not insured? Yeah, so that's why it's important to insure everything. If your car insured, it will not cover the trailer insurance because trailer is additional unit on the road. Yeah, so we have to consider these things. Is it necessary to have an insurance while towing a car like this? This car is broken, cannot drive, driver inside. Do I have to make an insurance? During this dab, like towing? Yes. If you think no, then you have to make this logic in your head. Imagine if this yellow car again has an accident with another car, how you will fix it? That's why I have to make an insurance. Even if you will use this car for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for 1 hour, 2 days, it's possible to make an insurance even for 1 day. So you can make that. So you have to understand that insurance mostly cover casual traffic insurance covers the damage which is caused in a traffic accident. So traffic accident means that two vehicles on the road or two units on the road had the crash and at least one vehicle was moving. So in that case, do you think it's an insurance case? Yeah. Is it traffic accident? No, it's not traffic accident. In that case, insurance will not cover the cost of it. This one, it was a traffic accident because one vehicle smashed another and it happened on the public road, so it's an insurance case then. This one, so some stone kicked the glass. It's also not traffic accident, obviously. It's not an insurance case then. So we have to fix it alone without insurance. This one insurance also have to cover. We can say it's a traffic accident because we kicked one car with another car. So what happens if you have this kind of damage and you want to cover it? In that case, casco exists. So casco is another let's say type of insurance. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive. So you can make it additionally if you, for example, if you have quite expensive car, and in a case you damage something, or like tree will damage it, or some stone will damage it. This insurance, this company will and casco insurance will cover it, and it will fix it. Yeah. So the thing is that how do usually casco works? Um, they request you pay monthly, of course, the payments for this, and as soon as you have any accident you want to fix, you usually pay this self, how to say, in Estonian we call it oma vastutus, so it means like my responsibility payment. So usually the amount of this my responsibility payment is like around 200 or 300 euros. So you pay this 200 euros and they will fix everything. So damage can be even for 5,000 euros. So you just pay 200 and they fix it. Yeah. So in addition of having the casual traffic insurance, you can have casco insurance. You cannot have only casco insurance. You have to remember that. Anyway, as soon you need to have casual traffic insurance, comprehensive traffic insurance. And if you want, additionally, you can make casco. So totally you have two policy insurances. Or if your car is not so new and you don't care about the car, you can make just casual traffic insurance. So when I get my first car, for example, I never cared about this casco, of course. I was driving like with the casual car. And I was not caring about that. An insured event shall not include loss or damage caused in the vehicle, including an air or watercraft, except when driving onto or off a ferry operating a scheduled service. So, in some events, insurance will not cover the damage. In which situations? For example, if you are, for example, if accident happened on the air or watercraft, except when driving onto or off a ferry operating a scheduled service. For example, Tallink is making operating the scheduled service from Helsinki to Tallinn, from Tallinn to Stockholm. In that case, it will be covered. At the location closed or what is sequestered for a competition and training session or other similar event. Yes, so it means you want to try your car on some special racing platform, and you had an accident there, of course insurance will not cover it. On the grounds of an aerodrome close to public traffic. Yeah, so as soon as you enter the aerodrome, this traffic insurance is not valid anymore. So if you are the worker of any airport, so airport has to make some special insurance in that case. Traffic insurance and contract. So who can make who can basically insure your car? So person who is interested to insure their property. It can be your wife, it can be your brother, it can be anyone. So they can insure your car. Yeah. So it's not necessary that you will make this insurance. Why it's important to know? Because, for example, your husband or your wife has a license, local license for many years. It means that she or he has an experience of driving, and in that case, if she or he is having less, I mean, bigger experience, then the payment for the insurance will be less. That's why it's kind of interesting thing. So many younger teenagers, as soon as they get the license, they buy car, and they ask their parents to make an insurance, because it will be like very small amount of payment. So you can consider that. As I already mentioned, contract can be made for 1 day or max for 1 year. Mhm. Mhm. Uh, you mean if you had an accident, and you see, if you have an accident anyway, yeah, and the insurance was made by your parents, for example, anyway, you have to mention in the report, police report, that you have been driving the car. Yeah. So it will not affect on your parents or relatives, but it will affect on you. So as soon as you will make your own insurance for someone or for yourself, your cost will be higher. Yeah. Here comes the question. If you parked your car in the ferry, if someone smashed your car, what should you do? So as you see, if you are driving in the ferry and someone is smashed your car, if it's operating, if this ferry is operating scheduled service, then you have to contact your insurance company and inform them about that, and they will cover you the costs in that case, most probably. I never had this kind of an accident, but I think it should be working like this. But you have to prove that, like, of course, you have to sign the numbers, the contact of this person who smashed you. So you have to know this all details. Then you can inform the insurance company, and then they can request this damage, basically loss and all the things from another person. You have to know this person also. At least you need to know the registration plate numbers. Always. So as soon as you see the accident, you first of all you remember the registration plate numbers. So we also have a policy if we make a contract, and a green card. So this is how the contract and policy looks like. So the number of the car, type of the car, number, and all the payment, how much you have to pay for month and stuff like that. So early termination of the contract. When can you terminate the contract? The insurance contract is concluded for a period of up to 1 year, but when the vehicle is removed from the motor register, it automatically ends. So also all the vehicles are registered in the road administration department. As soon as you delete it from there, it your insurance will be over. When a car is sold abroad or due to age and poor technical condition is handed over for a scrap, the vehicle is removed from the motor register. If you sell it, or if it's not used for some period, your traffic insurance will be over. If you do not use your vehicle for some time, you can temporarily remove it from the motor register. Then you will not have to undergo a roadworthiness test and insure the vehicle. So every person has a possibility to remove the car from the road administration department also. If you cannot use your vehicle, for example, it was stolen from you or from technical reasons it cannot be used for more than 1 month, then you can unilaterally terminate the insurance contract ahead of schedule. Of course, you have to do it in advance. As soon as you see that you will travel to another country for 4 or 3 months, I advise you to terminate the contract. Then you don't have to pay for next 3-4 months because you will not use the car, obviously. Yeah. So this is the important thing here. It's not necessary to have an insurance policy with you in Estonia, by the way. But where you need a green card or a policy card. So the green card is the card, the insurance card for traveling, mostly for some not European countries. For other countries, European countries, you can have just a policy paper with you. Green card you can request from your company for free, insurance company, and it's valid for 3 months usually. So if you know that you will travel to Russia, you better have this green card in advance. And also some European countries like Croatia, Montenegro, Albania, they request. Morocco, Tunisia. Yeah, but European countries mostly don't request it. They just request policy. Compensated damage. There are 2 types of damage: proprietary, non-proprietary. Proprietary means, for example, damage to a car. Non-proprietary, for example, damage to health. Yeah, so someone kicked you. Compensation. The victim in an accident is reimbursed for both types of damage. Non-proprietary damage to the pedestrian if he is a victim. The culprit of the accident is reimbursed only for the cost of treatment in the hospital if he gets there. Culprit means the person who is guilty in the accident. So if you are guilty in the accident, your insurance company will cover you only the hospital costs if it's needed. But your car repairment, not. So we are going back to the casco insurance. So as soon as you have an accident and you are guilty in this accident, if you have this health damage, you will be covered, of course, but your car will not be fixed, obviously. So in that case, that's why it's important to have casco, because they will fix it. Even if you are guilty, you just pay this own responsibility payment, and that's it. Also, your insurance will cover if you hit the pedestrian. Your insurance will cover this damage, non-proprietary damage. The victim in the accident is reimbursed for both types of damage. If you are a victim, all damage will be compensated, like physical and health. Like your car will be fixed, your health will be fixed, so hospital loss, yeah, they all will be compensated if you are a victim in the accident. Mm-hmm. You mean if you? damage on. Yes. If you drive a bicycle. You mean this crashes? But anyway, as soon as you're a victim, you will be compensated for that. Yeah, doesn't matter. Like, you will be compensated, even if you are just pedestrian and you will be smashed with the car. Of course, you will be compensated for that. You just need to know this, right? Yeah. If you are not sure about something, you can always call the police. Of course, they will say you the rights. Afjal is saying that the victim will not get paid of salary of not working and car lease money. Of course, uh, uh, the insurance is mostly concentrated on compensating the damage after you had in the accident. If you have an accident and you want to get your salary also, you have to open your Haigekassa, right? So this, if you are working officially in Estonia, you have this Haigekassa. As soon as you uh, go to hospital, you open it with your family doctor, and you will get your salary money. Uh, Car lease and things like that. It depends on the contract you have with the. It depends with the contract you have with the insurance. So, if, for example, if you still have casco, you can cover it. So all these things you have to overwatch in the contract. Now we are talking about the basics. um, of course, this damage will not be reimbursed if the culprit of the accident could not be identified. So even if the guilty party is not identified, you will not be covered. So that's why it's important always to get the ID code maybe or registration plate, the one who kicked you, for example. Now, the damage caused due to the fact that the owner was not able to use his vehicle is not compensated. So, for example, if you are driving a car and you are drunk or you don't have a license, of course, this damage will not be covered. So, traffic accident. If you have a traffic accident, it's important to report about that accident immediately. And you must keep a vehicle in a post-accident condition next 7-15 days. For example, if police cannot decide who is guilty in this situation, you have to try to keep your car not fixed for next 7-15 days until the police decide, make a solution about the accident. Sometimes it happens. Uh, so factors affecting the amount of motor insurance price. Traffic accident history. So as much traffic accidents you had before, the more payment for this insurance you will have. Power of the engine. The more powerful car you have, the more is the cost of this insurance. Area of the vehicle registration. So if you register your car in Tallinn, it's the most populated region in Estonia. That's why insurance will be bigger. If you register your car somewhere in Saaremaa, maybe, it's an island, not so much people, then the cost will be less because risks are less. Age of the car owner. The older you are, the more risk that you will get into the accident because you understand why, I guess. You have worse vision, concentration, all these things, reaction. The older person is, the less the reaction. And the same with the youngers. Um, the younger you are, the bigger the price. Because youngers, they risk more, they do more crazy things. That's the opposite side, yeah. And car brand. So some car brands are having a lot of accidents in Estonia. For example, BMWs, and usually youngsters, they use this cars a lot, and that's why these car brands especially have more insurance price. Yeah, the difference between traffic insurance and casco I have explained. And for example, this is a good picture. So this car has an accident with fence, so no other vehicles involved, right? In that case, you need to fix it. If you don't have casco, you will pay from your pocket all money. If you have casco, you pay just 200 euros and they will fix it. Yeah, I guess the last topic for today is trip planning. Why is it important to plan? Once again, maybe you have some questions about traffic insurance, or it's clear. Clear? All good? Okay, let's continue talking about um, trip planning. So the journey time depends mainly on the length of the planned journey. The journey time it takes while driving, so it means how much you have to drive physically. The driver's own ability to drive without a rest. So all the things you have to try, of course, when you have a license, you need to understand how many hours you can drive and you still feel yourself fresh. And of course, all these things you have to plan ahead. So from Tallinn to Tartu is around 180 kilometers. How long does it take for you to get there, you think, by normal conditions? You can look in the Google Maps. But yeah, it takes around 2 hours. Around 2 hours to get there. So in that case, you see that Google Maps shows you that it's 2 hours to drive there. But do you manage to drive at the maximum speed limit all the time? You have to understand that if not. Sometimes you have some accidents on the road, construction works, cameras, traffic jams, any many things. Hmm. Any obstacle, yeah. So in that case, you have to consider that maybe it will take you 30 minutes more than 2 hours. So try not to plan your road like just in a minute, yeah, minute to minute. You have to plan it in advance. So what do you need to consider when planning the road? As I already said, like you have to consider road conditions, traffic volume, weather conditions also, especially now. Imagine driving in this weather and nighttime. So obviously we'll be very slow on the highway. You don't have a lot of lights. Road construction works, breaks for rest. Yeah, maybe you will not manage to drive all 2 hours, like in a row. So need to make rests like every 45 minutes or 30 minutes. Also, sometimes you can see that Google is planning the road like this through some off roads, like yeah. And of course, he planned it, and he as it's out of the build-up area, it will be saying you that you can drive 90 there. But obviously, it's not true. It's out of the build-up area, but still it's not possible to drive 90 on this kind of roads. So you have to consider these things as well. So if you will want to travel to some, let's say, country area or village area, you need to understand that you will not be in time, most probably, that Google says to you. The longer the journey, the more difficult it is to plan the trip. So the following must be considered. Vehicle condition level for driving. So of course, if you have an old car, you have to test it first, like normal brakes, engine oil. So like they have some necessary equipment, for example, additional wheels, right? Medical kit, enough money to have a rest somewhere and stuff like that. Necessary breaks for rest, yeah. Driver's amount. So if you have a long journey, then if you have two drivers in the car, one drive, one sleep, then you change, another guy sleep, another drive. Overnight and refueling facilities. And this is also very tricky because when you drive quite a long time and you want to drive, you don't want to stop. You just want to get to the point, you start forgetting about the fuel. And sometimes, especially in Germany or some other European countries or Poland, if you are on the highway, it's not really often when you meet this refuel facilities. So it's very easy to miss one. That's why you have to plan these things ahead. Your fuel consumption, how many distance you can pass on your full tank, yeah, and this kind of things. Um, it is especially important to have a car in a good technical condition for a long journey. It's better to check it before the trip. So yeah, if you have an opportunity, I mean, option to check this car at some service quickly to pay for some diagnostics, so better to make it. Because imagine if you plan to drive like for 5 or 3 days to England or somewhere, and your car will be broken somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, better to check it before. Nowadays, as I already mentioned, we have a lot of options how to drive. With the smartphone, for example, we have Waze and Google Maps and stuff like that, but there are some risks related with this navigation systems. What should we consider? If you look at GPS for 4 seconds, your car will travel or pass 100 meters in that time. So it means that if you drive 90 kilometers per hour, you pass 25 meters per second. Yeah. So as soon as you are looking at the smartphone or GPS system or something, it can be even more than 4 seconds. Yeah, sometimes it's even 10. So imagine how many meters and how big the distance you pass. It means you don't see anything for next 100 meters. So that's why better to use voice guidance so you can stop the car and check which road you can use. This is the thing we talked about in the beginning, like or second or third lesson. Traffic signs are also convenient to use in the unfamiliar places. If you do not know the local language, you can use the service numbers. They are marked on the cards, even on GPS, or even in Google's, as well as on the signs. So what is the difference between those signs? One is like solid line, another one is breakable line. So if it's solid one, it means you are located on this road at the moment. Yeah. If it's a breakable one, it means you are crossing this road number, but you are not on it. So if you want to be on it, you have to turn, and now you are on it. So this is if you know that in advance, you need I need E77 road number, this one, because this road goes to London, for example. And if you know that in advance, you can always follow the numbers on the signs, and you will get to London finally. So even a more experienced driver can make a mistake while planning the road trip. What should you do if you are late? Yeah, so, sometimes mostly mistakes are happening because of rushing. So don't look at your watch all the time. Try to disable your negative emotions. Concentrate on driving. Don't make any spontaneous decisions. It's easy to say, I know, but at least try. So if you have any bad feeling or negative in your head, so better not to drive maybe. Because I had some students that after breaking up with their girlfriends, they had a little big accidents, you know, because of having negative emotions. So it's kind of not good, right? And it's a good example for you how not to do. So, oh, this is the last slide. Okay, then. So, if you have any questions, you can ask it now. And thank you for your attention and for watching. In the beginning, we had a lot of questions about the theory. Uh, and practice. So about practicals, please text me on my email or WhatsApp. About theory, I guess it's clear now that next lesson will be the last one, the seventh one. And after that, you have 4 weeks to make your theoretical exam. Yeah, you can make it in Little Stop, obviously. It will be much easier to make it there. First aid, you want to register? Or it's going to be on 27th. Yeah. You mean takes time or how much it costs? It's around 50 or 40 euros. I don't remember. I can check. First aid, yeah. After that, in March, I guess, in the end of March. So if you go to the courses here, English, you will see 50 euros, and it's going to be on 27 at 10 o'clock. The first one. The next one will be, I guess, in the end of March. Or beginning of April. If you have health certificate also from your family doctor, you can start practicing then. You started it. Uh-huh. Mhm. Ah, okay. You basically have like difficult schedule, right? What is the schedule you have? I mean usually you have some free time on the weekend. I mean weekdays. So some weekdays you can do in the morning, some days in the evening. 7 at 9. Concentration, yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. She's mostly available on Fridays and Saturdays. Mm-hmm. Can you just text me then email or something? I will think. I have one. I have one more teacher in mind who can make Saturday lessons. Yeah, mostly our teachers. How much? Okay, that's good. Okay. Yeah, you can send me some text message or something. I will send you the contact of one more teacher. Just requesting the teacher. Hmm. Yeah, I will end up with the broadcast. Okay, guys, I will see you next time then. Don't miss the lesson, okay? And make the last two tests also. We will check it then. The sixth one and the seventh one in the link that you have. So we will do that. And thank you for watching again. See you guys. Yeah, you also don't forget to make the test, okay?